That's Warriors Life podcast 2024, episode 53. Will Evans and Brad Larking here with you on video as well, unless we pull the pin. Good to see Brad has yet to grasp the concept of capital letters for his first name there, but I'm sure you can put it together.
Hang on, I've never done that. I haven't. Is it? Yeah, I don't. I can't even
put your own name in there.
I did actually put, because you can have a little optional guest name, like if you're the founder or something in that. And I did have Exotic Dancer in there for a little bit today, but then I backed out. But the cold feet
doesn't come up there. Welcome to the TWL New Zealand staff Christmas party. Yeah. I'm sure Fonz is doing something for the Australian staff sometime over the next couple of weeks, so look forward to that. But yeah, good to be back with you, Brad. Been a while since in season it was just the two of us, but seamless as always.
Yeah, it would be just naturals, absolute naturals. It just comes to us so easily.
We've never been away.
What was that? Sorry,
like we've never been away.
Yeah, see, and we stumble straight away. No, I've been good. What are we doing? What's happening for the Christmas party today, Will?
I just thought we'd, just hang out, enjoy each other's company, bit of Warriors chat.
Sweet. Cheese
board.
There'll
be a few segues. Yeah. I think.
Is there an Uber Eats cheese board about to arrive on this here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, hopefully it gets here in time during the podcast. I've got my little chili bin here next to me.
You have.
I imagine you got a fridge there, do you?
I do have a fridge over yonder, but I've got a couple of soldiers just lined up ready to rock in front of me because I know I'm going to punch through the first couple. But that's getting so close to the end of the year, man. I was one of those runners, they see those videos that puts his hands up and runs towards the finish line too early and then gets overtaken because the race isn't over yet. That's what happened to me. And then you sprinkle a little bit of COVID in there for a week too, and that will really make your end of year feel like a punish. So I got three, maybe 4 days next week, and shut it down and take good 4 or 5 weeks off, actually.
Geez, how bad is getting the flu or COVID during summer when it's piping hot, sunny? I think it's twice as bad.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was, but I didn't test, so there was nothing official. It was just a bad cold, sore throat, dizziness, everything you read on the back of the COVID thing. It was. And but yeah, it is a maggot, absolute maggot. I've only just started coming right. I think it was yesterday I finally pestered you with a long-winded phone call of absolute bullshit talk, and that was the first time.
Yeah, you've been a little bit quiet on it.
And that's why. That's why I had the bot.
Knocking off sometime next week, Brad.
Yeah, Wednesday's our last day. Tidy up the tools Thursday, lawn bowls with the lads Friday, and then on a plane to Mount Maunganui Saturday. So still a bit to do, still a bit to get done. And but we'll be happy when I'm lying up next to a pool up in the mount, just chilling out.
Oh, yeah. Have you got a pool where you staying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What? Yeah. Do you not? Peasant. Yeah, of course.
Just a paddling pool.
Nah, the brother-in-law has worked very hard and has a nice wee pad up there. So it's it's going to be a great spot to be for. I don't know, 6 days I think it is. Yeah. What are you doing, man?
Just hanging around here, mate. Mum and her husband are coming down for a couple of days for Christmas, and everyone's sort of coming to us for New Year's, which will be good from all corners of New Zealand, down south, up north, locally.
Yeah.
I do. So it's going to be good fun.
It is nice at home, eh? I know the mountain will be good, but geez, I tell you, I really wouldn't mind just sitting on the couch for 5 days, not having to be anywhere or do anything. That wouldn't be a bad option either.
It's going to be a bit of a change for us, and looking forward to. So Tally will be rolling up, and Wees, I think they're camping at our place for New Year's. Although I haven't told them how hard the ground is out there. I hope they got some sharp tent pegs, because that north
have a hammer drill out on your lawn.
Yeah. Yeah,
Be like
it's
those memes
yeah.
with three of them are just going perfectly in a circle with sledgehammers, getting a circus tent up. They're just trying to get a two-man sleep. Hey, wait, what do you need? You don't need
pup
pegs
tent.
anymore, do you? Do you need pegs anymore?
No,
Because it's
I
not
don't
as if
know.
we're
It's been
building
there for a
those
while.
fucking house of cards that we had as kids. Remember those look like a tent, whereas now they're just that like a bow, and it just goes boom, 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 little dome thing. I wouldn't even bother pinning it down.
Gets pretty windy out here, man. The look out my bedroom window and see Tally's pup tent rolling across the lawn with him in it.
Just stretched over him, like the wind's stretching it away from it, and there's just perfect, like sitting in the sack, just Tally there in a ball anchoring it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother. After the first one, if I stood on it in a scuff and it bent, done. That would be me quitting. That is enough. Have you got ice?
To Amberley Motels. Now I was going to ask you, Brad, your boys are what, 12 and 9? Ted 12 yet? And Otis will be 9?
Yeah, Ted's 13 in Feb. Yeah. Last year of intermediate today, it was for Teddy.
Congratulations, Ted. What a milestone.
Yeah, I got a great. Jeff Lima's one of his teacher aides at his school. So it's quite out of it that, Ted hangs out, and I've got a great off-air story for you. It's a ripper, and then we'll put it at the end and see if it's okay to put on here.
Make it easy to edit out if it's not.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was going to ask, either of them still on the Santa buzz, or did you pop that bubble long ago?
It was quite a confusing one, because kids these days don't want to. What I've worked out, they don't want to admit that they don't believe in Santa, because then they think there's a chance that they might not get presents. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so Ted sort of knew, but then Otis knew there was no Santa quite early. But Ted, it was starting to get embarrassingly late. Embarrassing. Like right up until even this year, Trace goes, Ted doesn't believe that. Like, this is Form 2, like old fucking currency. Form 2. And he was still unsure if he believes in it. But I think it's more the fear of missing out. I found out first day of school. I remember the very first day, Runanga School, roll in the gate, 5 years old, one of the standard 4 big boys come up to me and told me Santa's not real. One of the first things anyone told me at school. Yeah.
What a disillusioning start to your school life.
Yeah. I went home and told my 3.5-year-old sister.
Well, I was actually 5 when my parents sat me down and said, "Oh, look, mate, Santa's not real." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it kind of makes sense." I had a weird experience with Santa that same Christmas. Maybe that was the trigger. I was down at the Tutukaka Fishing Club, and they had a Santa like down there, and all the kids in a big room. And I don't know what he said, but I got called, and I was an incredibly shy kid. And I'm up in front of the whole room of these little kids down at the fishing club. And up there was Santa, and he was, a bit of a crotchety old Santa. And he said something to me, and I didn't really understand what he said, and I just blurted out some sort of answer, and then the whole room started laughing at me. So I found it quite traumatic. And so maybe, I'm not sure if that.
Do you even know what they still to this day not know what you said?
Nah.
But you're holding on to that. It's a big maybe thing that's you've held on to your whole life. That day at the Tutukaka Fishing Club. Vivid.
So maybe I was a bit sort of shaken up, and so maybe mum and dad just sat me down and go, "Look, Santa's not real. That was just some old bloke in a red suit."
Run-in.
And so it made me feel better.
At the Runanga Workmen's Club every year, it was Beachy. That's one of the locals at the Workmen's Club, and they'd have the members thing, and all the kids would go to the Christmas party and sit up, and every kid knew it was bloody Beachy. That's just Beachy in a Santa Claus suit. So quite early in the piece, I knew there was a whole lot of lying about the dude.
Yeah. I was the same as that's what twigged the memory. I was the same. I did exactly what I was told explicitly not to do, and went and told my cousins, and got a fair bit of shit for it. But But I wonder how it doesn't just, as soon as one kid knows in a class, like how does it not just
I know
snowball and
5
everyone
years
knows?
must be the average. It must be the average age that people learn, surely. Oh, not
But
average.
honestly, use a bit of critical thinking. I mean, for
Like
God's
Ted
sake.
was way too old. Way too old. Yeah, bit of critical thinking. Do the legit, like they're starting to learn math, and it's like, come on, man, come on, you should
And
realize
science and shit.
logistics. Yeah. You know what a pod of whales, like a group of whales, is called a pod. How can you not work out that dude can't visit every house?
That last story reminded me. We had a caretaker at our school, really nice old guy called Mr. Can. He was a big Balmain Tigers supporter, actually, and we used to talk a bit of league. But I was shocked one day to go to McDonald's in Whangarei, and Mr. Can was Ronald McDonald. That was a bit of I don't know why. That really rattled me as well.
And then on Monday, was he back at school doing the lawns?
Yeah, and, fixing
Just
shit.
a little weekend gig, little side hustle.
Yeah.
Out of it, lose a little bit of respect.
No, I don't know why it made me. I just feel a bit weird about it, but yeah. Anyway, we're off to a flying start.
Yeah.
With this, you can see why everyone's stuck with us for this 52 previous episodes. But
it's just got a hint of league in it. Usually the Christmas do, doesn't it?
Yeah,
just a little sprinkling
league by this time of the year.
But what else can we say about Warriors? Oh, about defense, man.
We did get a bit leggy on it last week though, with Andrew McFadden joining.
You boys did.
Fonz and myself. That was good. Great guy, very engaged guest. So if you haven't listened to that one yet, if you're keeping it in your back pocket, maybe you're saving it to sit around on Christmas Eve with your family to listen to. That's I'm sure
Christmas
a few of you are doing that.
Block out the in-laws.
Yeah. So no presents yet. Listen to the McFadden TWL podcast. Then you can open one now.
Get him run around the tree in the morning. Listen to that. Kathy's thoughts on bringing new juniors through. So what have we got on? What have you got in your bank there? You got a little list of things?
Yeah, jotted down some stuff, mate, just to keep us on track. But probably just while we're talking about other podcasts, the Everything Rugby League podcast. Fonz guested on that with a great friend of the show and occasional guest, Keith Whitelock, and also Stu McLennan, who's a good bloke as well. Had a little bit to do with him over the years. Talking about expansion and international stuff, Origin, all very brainy league guys and brainy league topics. I reckon I've got about 10 IQ points on top after listening to that one. So I'm much smarter than you now, Brad. Unfortunately,
I'd say.
Go and check it out.
Geez, I have to listen to that in spurts. I can't take on too much information in one spell. Just goes.
I was a little bit concerned that with Fonz sort of doing a podcast, and he said it's the first time he's ever guested on a podcast that's not this one or his own one.
Oh, is that
right? I found quite amazing.
No, they're onto it, dudes. They unlock some things that I don't even think about when it comes to footy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned he might cut us loose in 2025. Now he's found found his intellectual equals.
Oh, it's just the end of us. Right, make it a banger.
Yeah, okay, this is our audition to get Fonz back.
To win Fonz back. Yeah, righto.
I'll tell you what will be a carrot for getting Fonz back. If he doesn't, it would be incredibly awkward when the three of us go to Magic Round together.
Oh, that's right. We are off to Magic Round. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the first time I'm going to press the flesh with Fonz. This is my first ever physical meeting with the bloke.
Yeah, how you feeling about that?
Oh, it's going to be good seeing him. I'm trying to work out what scale he's in. Is he people tell you he's normal size, but when you see someone in form in front of you. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to actually because we only ever talk Warriors. I want to know a bit more about Fonz and just sit and have a good yarn to him, just bullshit around the pool.
He is only 5 foot though, so don't get rattled by that. But other than that, it's actually incredibly normal seeing him in person. I was lucky enough to spend some time with him in Sydney a couple of years ago. You'll love it.
That's right. Yeah, cool. No, I am looking for. He's got that lift shoe, eh? Like he's got under 1 foot. He's got that 2-inch lift on his sole as well. No, it's gonna be good. How's that pad you booked? That's a ripper.
Yeah,
honestly, just looking at that, how that one photo that gets me is that picture of the kitchen. It's got your red splashback and then a purple neon light in the toe spacer in the bottom.
I don't know.
At least 3 or 4 porns have been filmed at that Airbnb. Had to have. You can get a good sized production crew in there. There's room for cameras. Yeah, it is an
certainly sprawling.
It is sprawling.
Yeah. A bit of a billiard room with a bar.
Yeah,
so
with the bar,
we may struggle to get to the stadium, but hopefully we can peel ourselves away.
Me and Gaz have already discussed the second day, probably the Saturday, we might just drag a mattress in front of the TV in the lounge.
Well, that's the day the Warriors.
I know. That's what I'm trying to work out.
Yeah, it should be good. See, we know we've got quite a few listeners in Brisbane that we're probably long overdue to catch up with. So
they have a catch up over. Doesn't someone organise a bit of a Warriors catch up?
Yeah, Warrior Nation does a big thing. I think at the Lord Alfred Hotel.
Yeah, so we better go have a sniff at that.
The Ruin Hammer Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we could probably go and gate crash that. Hopefully, and, yeah. You might finally get
climb up the
Brad.
It's an upstairs too, isn't it? We have to climb up the facade.
Make a real entrance.
Hook the leg over the balcony. Alley-up.
It's it'll hopefully go better than when you thought you'd got recognised at, was it a Placemakers or the Warehouse?
The Warehouse. Yeah. Are you an Aiken?
So,
Nah. Oh, you look like one. Fuck. Yeah.
What a weird thing. If anyone that didn't catch Brad's reel, someone was yelling out at him saying, "Are you an Aitken?" You thought he was saying Ewan Aitken, former Warriors centre back rower Ewan Aitken, and got a little bit confused. Thought it was podcast related. But what a weird thing to just start screaming at someone.
What would it matter if I was? It's like, yeah, I am. Oh, yeah, I know you're dead. Oh, good on you, mate. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck is that guy? It is quite an out of it thing. It's a small town thing though, isn't it? It's not so much a city thing. Like growing up on the coast, you do sort of get bailed up. Who's your dad? You know what I mean? But yeah, to be bailed up in what is
I had
some couple hundred.
It's always weird, and when you're out in public, and you and I wouldn't say are the most unflappable people getting around. So we're easily flummoxed, and something similar happened to me. Not similar to that, but someone totally random striking up a conversation with you. I was at the supermarket and going through the self checkouts, and it was must have been gold card day because it was packed with old people struggling with the self checkout. Yeah.
Do you remember that the lines back? Sorry, do you remember that movie Romper Stomper?
Yeah.
And there was that song, Skinheads looking for a street fight, looking for on the coast in Ritnanga. We used to call old people silverheads, and that's the song we'd sing. But silverheads looking for a street fight, looking for a root.
Great movie.
Anyway, sorry. Gold day at the supermarket.
Yeah, and this old joker behind me. Well, I thought he could have been, late 50s. But anyway, he's like, don't you love gold card day? Like making a joke about how they're fluffing about. And I was like, yeah. Just trying to like laugh along with his little joke. He was a pretty jovial sort of guy. And anyway, we both get through. We both whip through our scan through and get out of there. And we both sort of converge at the same time.
How much is that? How much do you want to throttle that chick? That is a terrible thing to say, but that robot, that lady at the checkout, self-checkout, please place your bag.
The robot
in the bag area.
Yeah.
Please play. She just talks too much. It's like being in the subway.
Is
many
this, are you a
questions.
countdown? Is this countdown that you go to?
Yeah, it
'Cause
will be. Yeah.
I find the New World one a lot more palatable than countdown or,
Is that
Woolworths.
right? Fresh choice is
Yeah.
terrible. Fresh choices. She's
Uh,
abrasive. Yeah.
yeah, and it's a lot
Sorry,
louder. The New World one doesn't seem
yeah.
as
I worded that incorrectly. I meant the robot.
I
Throttle that robot.
yeah. Not a physical person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so anyway, so both of us whip through and get out of get our our groceries, and we're out of there before anyone else has even cleared theirs. The oldies are still struggling, and we converge. I was like, oh no, he's gonna fucking strike up a conversation again. And he's just behind me. He's like, oh look, we're already both out. None of them have even come out. I was like, yeah. And then he accidentally stands on my jandal. So as we're going out the door, so I just about trip up. It's like, fucking hell.
On the back?
Can't we just keep to ourselves? Well, can we not just keep to ourselves? There's got to be some sort of like I think
It's
if
pretty
you wear
close.
like
It's pretty close.
so he's way too close. We've already had one conversation. He's struck it up again. I think you should be able to like wear a t-shirt and like a some sort of identifiable piece of clothing, and if you're wearing it like an armband or something, and if you're wearing that, you're not allowed to just strike. If you're a stranger, you can't just
wear
start
earmuffs.
random conversations.
Just wear earmuffs, man. No one talks to someone with earmuffs on. Not even headphones, earmuffs. They know you cannot handle audio, exterior audio. So yeah, they'll leave you alone then. He stood on your jandal. Oh, fuck. I had a run in the other day. I added someone else to my fuckers list. Do we want to talk league or do we keep?
You may as well get this one while it's the front of mind, Brad.
Yeah, I added someone else. Do you have a fuckers list, like this unintentional list of people that you've got a grudge on? Sort of. And it's not always a person. It could, like, two of my noisy trailers, hate them. And what was the other one I thought of before? But anyway, I went to getting backstory, getting a new ute, need a new canopy. So I was like, I heard about this one store in town. Oh, they're real good. Go down there and get a canopy. So I cruise down there, drop in. There's two old boys at the door polishing. One's watching, another one buffing a spoiler on a Corolla. I was like, and I looked at them, both of them looked at me straight away, and I could tell in their eyes they did not want anything to do with me. They had no interest. So I just like, fuck them, just forced myself upon one of them that wasn't working. And I was like, you do canopies in that here, mate? He goes, yep. And that was it. And I was like, oh, here we go. Fuck it. And then I was like, oh, yeah. He goes, do you want it for that one out there? And I was like, he's pointed to my ute. And I was like, no, I'm getting a new ute coming. Need it for XXX. And he goes, oh, okay. I said, do you do the metal ones? Nah, nothing like that here. And the way he said that, firecracker went off inside me. And as calmly as I asked the other questions, I said to him, well, thanks for fucking nothing, mate. I can see you've got no interest in fucking helping me. I'll leave you to it then. And it was that polite and dry, and his face dropped, and the other old boy next to him heard it as well, and both of them were just like, oh, what just happened here? And then I got on my ute and peeled out, and what's that move? Dodgeball, when he gets on the scooter, just had one arm out the window, straight armed him, finger, and peeled out like a demon. And I've been past probably 5 times in the last 3 weeks now. If I see him, even if I just see his silhouette in the shed, I've been dodgeballing him.
So it takes a lot to push your buttons, Brad. But when you do, it's just bad news for them.
Straight away, it's the tone of his voice, everything about it. It just screw him. So yeah. But then I had another one, an unintentional dodgeball today on the way home. I was pulling out of this intersection, and granted, there was a car coming, but it was wasn't 100 meters, but maybe 50 meters away, but plenty of time.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, Austin Powers when that dude on the steamroller gets run over, and it's just so slow and far away. From far away, this old boy just leant on the horn like a train. And And I pulled out and onto the road. He didn't have to brake or anything, and we still had time to go past. And just without thinking, my window was down. Sign written trucks. Without thinking, just dodgeballed him right in the face as I pulled out of the intersection. Such a weird thing to do. He was miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, she's all gone to shit down this end of town.
Geez, you really do need a holiday, Brad. It's everything's getting to you.
It is. Fucking yeah. Right. What do you got, Will?
Well, it seems a little bit dry now after all this sort of, friction and feuding and abusing strangers. But I did want to touch on something that I was involved with. It was several months ago, but it was only announced just recently during the international series. As New Zealand Rugby League's historian, I sit on the awards committee, and part of our duty is discussing and choosing the new inductees to Legends of League, which is like New Zealand Rugby League's Hall of Fame.
It always blows. I know it always blows my mind that you are the New Zealand Rugby League historian. That's a pretty cool title to own. You only told me this like 6 months ago as well, and then you're on the Hall of Fame inductee committee. Pick who goes in.
Yeah, well, it could
You're
be
a big deal, man.
I wouldn't say that. It's
I
maybe
reckon
no one
that's
else
a big
is that
deal.
keen to do it. No, I'm quite proud of that title.
Like managing your kids' high school cricket team. Just fucking.
Well, I was followed in the footsteps of the GOAT, John Coffey. Well, I consider him a mate and a hero of mine. He is the man as far as rugby league, journalism, authoring, historical stuff goes. And yeah, he's been very helpful for me. He's based down here as well, and he sort of anointed me as his successor. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and since 2018 actually. So I was only about 36 when I took over. Anyway, we get sitting on the panel with at the moment Howie Tamati, who's just stepped down as president. Nadine Conlon, Kiwi Ferns, great. Honey Hidemi, another Kiwi Ferns great, and Frank Endicott. So they're all legends of league inductees, except for Honey, who will be as soon as she's eligible with the retirement criteria. I'm sure she'll go straight in there.
I've never seen her play. Was she good?
Unbelievable.
Is that right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, well, she was playing right up until 2020, I think.
Was she?
Yeah. So if she was playing now, she'd still dominate. Like, obviously the women's game has come a long way in the last
position?
5 years or so.
Winger?
Centre winger.
Yeah. Huh. No, that's real bad.
Yeah.
I need to look at some footage.
Oh man, I'm sure you would have seen her play.
I would have probably
piece the memory together. Yeah, big, strong, fast, and incredibly dynamic. But yeah, so a little bit daunting sitting on a panel with,
I feel a little bit underqualified.
Legends of the league, but they make me feel part of it, which is cool. Anyway, so we inducted a new batch in. Talked about it mid-year, I think, and then they got officially announced during the international schedule. So the new Kiwis were Fred Arcoy and fellow 1970s and 80s icons Graham West and Dane Sorensen, 1990s champions Sean Hoppy, Matthew Ridge, who I thought was long overdue, and Nigel Wagner. Obviously came through 98 and through the 2000s. 2008 World Cup winning skipper Nathan Kalis and Simon Mannering. It was his first time of eligible to be selected. Straight in, no surprises there.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Yeah, and Frank Endicott as well, actually, is only the second non Kiwi player coach, along with Graham Lowe, to be inducted to Legends of the League. So yeah, all guys that if you'd sort of asked if they were in it, you'd kind of assume they were. So
yeah.
And 3 kiwi ferns as well, adding to the 4 that were originally selected a couple of years ago. Some pioneering greats, Zavana Aranga, Rachel White, and Tasha Davey, who came along a couple of years later in the late 90s and was still playing at the 2016 Auckland Nines for the Kiwi Ferns. So incredible career. But yeah, always good to celebrate, those sort of legends. The NRL is starting to do it a bit more sort of in a more organised manner with Hall of Fame, and privileged to be able to do it with New Zealand Rugby League. And
where is the New Zealand Rugby League Hall of Fame? Is there a hall?
No, I don't think.
Is there a physical hall where it's all? Is there a head of rugby league where their plaques are up on? Do you know what I mean? Is there a room that?
Yeah, there's underneath New Zealand Rugby League headquarters is there's the museum. So on the same street that Mount Smart's on. And
is that right?
The museum, yeah, there's a museum underneath. But most halls of fame, I don't think, are literal halls of fame.
Is that common knowledge too? I thought it would be I thought it was somewhere you could go visit and see all the jerseys and walk around. Is it not actually a hall
I'm sure
it doesn't have to be a hall. It can be a circle or an octagon. Like, I'm not thinking your classic hall. Some sort of abode.
Yeah,
have them all in there in cages. Cryogenic states.
Suspended animation.
Is that common knowledge? But that's not common knowledge, surely. Most people would think.
Okay, let's have a poll. Write in and say, and be honest. Did you think every Hall of Fame that there was always a literal building?
I thought, I thought there'd be
just
a set aside place for the Hall of Fame, so you could walk around in this room and look at the Hall of Famers plaques and that.
So, like I'm just.
What's the point of it? Otherwise, just telling people. Oh yeah, he's in it. Is that it?
Well,
you're in it. No proof. I want to see a plaque. You're not in it until there's a plaque in an old plain jersey.
And obviously, because semantics is a bit of an issue here for you, Brad. The New Zealand Rugby League one is just called the Legends of League. I use the term Hall of Fame because it is essentially their Hall of Fame, but it's the New Zealand Rugby League Legends of League. Yeah. So
I did know that.
There's no reference to a hall there, but I'm just going to use the most famous Hall of Fame as an example.
Yeah.
To NFL? So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
That is a physical address in Cleveland, Ohio. So maybe that's
see, I reckon it's just gone that way because real estate's so expensive. But I reckon traditionally it was a hall, but all of a sudden the New Zealand Rugby League can't be forking out another 8,000 square feet. Just put a couple of old jerseys in.
So there's the first question when you Google it: is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame real? Like a real thing. Yeah, like the NRL Hall of Fame. I guess you just attach it to a museum. I don't think so. No. I mean, they might have some sort of display in the museum.
That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah, display like an area. I don't know. That's weird. Semantics. It's a good word. That's actually one of the. What's your favorite word? Because you're quite wordy. I was thinking of this the other day when I just cruising around. So I wonder what Will's favorite, because you're into words. You're quite eloquent. What's your number one?
No, not really. I don't have a favorite word for me, Brad. I've never really thought about it. Have you got one? Of the 50-odd words that you know, have you got a favorite?
Stymie. No, it's not. I always used to think cardigan is fun to say. Just the way it bounces out of your gob. Cardigan.
Cardigan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cardigan.
That's quite cool.
Yeah. But Canova, probably Cunova. Canova. I reckon that's a cracker word.
Yeah.
Canova.
Yeah.
It reminds me, we had whenever, because this is only on my mind. The other day I had a real shit day, like ready to just hating on building, driving home. I was like, had a Canova day. And then I straight away thought of Kevin Bloody Wilson and put on that song. Had an absolute, and that thing perked me up proper. But it reminded me of a story we were doing. Laborers. You've been a laborer. They just pretty much push a broom for 8 hours a day. Slow days. They are slow,
Yeah.
but you're just on a
Picking
broom.
up rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were on a roof doing roof framing. So all the nets, the nets that protect you from falling was casting this nice shadow down underneath on the ground. So we were getting our ass kicked like 30 degrees, absolutely slammed, adding a bit of wind. And you're just looking down and this apprentice or laborer is just pushing the broom all day, not a care in the world. And we're all, I'll never forget it, we're all packing up the container at the end of the day, just putting tools away. Everyone's all grizzled and grimed. And we're all in there, and this labourer comes in with his broom, hooks it up on this hook, and then wipes his brow and he goes, fuck, cunt of a day. All he's done is pushed a broom. We're all grizzled and grimy. It was just the most perfect timing ever. Fucking cunt of a day.
Yeah. Grass is always greener, Brad.
Oh shit.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, obviously it's well documented that I'm not much of a DIY kind of guy, but I've been restaining the house recently with some of the spare time I've got. That's kind of a job.
Kind of a job. Kind of a.
Especially when you're trying to like fit it into the like
a job. Worst part's opening the paint tin. Like it's so hard actually getting the energy to peel that lid off the tin. Once you get it open, you're all right. Cleanup sucks shit. Your
and
rags
and especially with like black stain. It's windy. You take painstaking efforts to like put all these old sheets down across the deck so you don't get anything. And you're taping up around all the windows and above the eaves, which are
I just stain the windows, stain it and rub it off with a rag, and it gives it a nice little luster, gives a nice little shine for bugger that. I don't tape up nothing with stain. But anyway,
then you get a good a little gust of wind out of nowhere. The sheet flaps up, then the full roller that you've just dipped, the wind catches that and splatters it directly on the bit where the sheet's just exposed on the deck. And you wonder why you didn't just build a brick house.
I know my next house is going to be brick, man. Screw that. Concrete. I'm going earth bunker. Concrete. Just bury it. One sliding door in. Anyway, you have best intentions when you start staining, to do it all correct and right. And then in the end, you're just slopping that shit on there. You want out. It's like me earlier. I was washing my truck. This is actually an out of it. Fucking hell, this is no league at all. Do we even put this out? but I was washing the truck earlier. It takes me about a year and a half to wash this thing. We live on a gravel road. What's the point? But then enough is enough sort of thing. You're like, all right, I'm going to have to do this.
You want it to at least be clean sitting in at home for 12 hours.
I'm about to sell it. Like I said, anyone want to buy a Ranger, give me a shout. I'm about to sell it, getting an upgrade, But anyway, finally got it set up in front of the garage, hosing everything down. Kids are all taken care of at school. No problem. Trace comes out. I need to go pick up Ted. It's like I've just fucking half washed one side of the truck. She needs out of the garage, so needs me to move the truck. So right. As soon as I finish this side, I was like, no, she can wait till I do the whole thing running. Very next song on the headphones was Millencolin, Move Your Car.
Whoa, how did
it? So then I told Tracy that, and she goes, "That's the fucking power I've got over you." So I had to move that, and then I washed the roof. I had to get on a ladder. Like you're on a ladder rubbing the roof, and the first side I was like, I'll do half now and do the other half from the other side. Got around the other half side and started cursing myself that I was too lazy to wash the whole thing up there before. It's like, that lazy fucker should have just finished it while he was up there before. Angry at myself.
Shit. We will squeeze some league in here, Brad.
Yeah.
There's
it's a cooler one. That's an out of it one, eh?
Yeah. So,
Because I when that announcement got made, I was like, "Who's this kid we've signed till that time?"
yeah, another Dimitrik,
Yeah.
but it's Dimitrik now Valmonga,
Mhm.
and signed through to 2028. One of only 2 players on the roster signed that long. So, we're obviously pretty high on him. After coming back from that ACL, showed how good he potentially can be. Jesus is a beast. He could be our sort of answer
He's
to
going to be a
Adam Milk
badass
in a
this
couple of
year.
years. Yeah, excited
Did you
about
see
him
that
just
little
playing
clip
a step
about
up.
him re-signing? There was a little clip, the promo clip that Warriors put out,
I don't know.
and it was
With some
it was pretty
highlights.
scary. Oh yeah, just some highlights, but then it was only like 10 seconds of him talking, and just the way he said, "Next year is going to be a big year for me," and you could just see it in his eyes. You're like, "Oh Jesus, this guy is serious." Yeah, he
It's great
looks
to see.
like he's going to damage the NRL. He is a beast, that guy. I think he's going to take it upon himself. He looks like that type of character.
Yeah, that would be great to see someone just really step into that role. A few of them have been brought along quite carefully, and Andrew McFadden talked about it. And probably one of the things that stuck with me with the McFadden podcast was, we're all impatient. We see these young guys that are got all the talent in the world, and that I've got to put them in the 17. Why are they being held back? But they could be dragging their feet at training. The training load, the coming up to NRL level, pretty exhausting. And if they are, you do have to hold them back. And that's, I guess, all that sort of stuff that we don't see, and the reasoning behind being brought along slowly. But yeah, hopefully Valmonga, new name to learn.
Valmonga, yeah. A tip of the cap to his mother, isn't it? That's his mother's name.
Yeah, very nice homage there. And it got me thinking, Brad, about other name changes throughout NRL history. It does happen
Sure,
from
you've
time
got a
to time,
couple of
fairly
stats
similar.
here.
Yeah, I got a few here. And there's a few like your Tom Leroy Lars who came on as Tom Leroy, and then all of a sudden he's hyphenated with a Lars on the end. It's not so amazing. But I've got just going to bring out two of the more notable ones here. Brandon Pearson, you might remember, West Magpies centre, pretty volatile type, pretty talented, played country origin, probably like, a bit of an origin smoky during the mid-90s. He was Brandon Pearson for 7 or 8 years, and then all of a sudden he's playing for the Raiders in 2000. Brandon Costin all of a sudden.
Costin.
So yeah, deep into his career. That one always stuck with me. Don't know if it was similar to this situation, but the one that I've always remembered was this fella that played for Tonga in 2000 World Cup. He was a Magpies lower grader, Lapina Kaufusi Luitai, actually. And then he debuts for West Tigers the next season, but as Jackson Kaufusi, drops the Luitai off the end. Plays a bit for West Tigers. Apparently the Jackson was he had a bit of an afro as a kid and got christened Jackson on Jackson 5. So he's maybe a bit more marketable, Jackson Kaufusi. This is early 2000s, bit of more of an unenlightened era. Then all of a sudden, I've got this written down here. When did he? Then he fades off the scene. 2 years in the wilderness. Re-emerges with the Bulldogs in late 2005 as Makasini Richter. Plays a handful of games for them. And went back to the Magpies, lower grades, Tonga again at the 2000 in some 2008 World Cup qualifiers. But he's almost like a wrestler, like how they just.
That's exactly what I was thinking. A new heel.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like totally new persona, like you've grown up with it your whole life, and you.
Because didn't Diesel change his name a couple of times? Was it Diesel or Razor Ramon? Was he D?
Yep.
Razor Ramon.
We're probably showing our age here, but there's
that's the real wrestlers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was telling you the other day.
Just, go and buy his name, and then all of a sudden he's the Red Rooster. It's like, what? Yeah, I'm a rooster now. No big deal.
David Horowitz. Remember getting that card? God, you felt ripped off. You felt like throwing it at the.
Yeah. He was one of the so that set. So the 3 sets of 20 cards.
Yeah.
So you hit it was Barry Horowitz.
That's who it was.
He was like the token. He was like the highest profile jobber, I think they called, like the ones on those shows that just got a hiding. But he was like he kind of had a bit of a profile. But then he became the Brooklyn Brawler, and he got another card. So he's like,
I knew he went on to someone. Yeah. So was he the Brooklyn Brawler?
Yeah, who was also kind of shit, but he was at least like a name. And he got another card.
Oh, did he? I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah. So he was on another set as a different thing.
Yeah. But one of my favorites
was a pussy, eh? He was, he was such a.
Yeah.
I reckon I could have taken the Red Rooster. There's a good line in, do you know that hieroglyphic song At the Helm? Dell the Funky Homo sapien mentions Barry Horowitz in one of his verses.
Oh, really?
It's a rad little line to, like, I know Barry Horowitz. Yeah, I can't remember the verse. I ain't about to drop no Dell on you.
One of my favorites was the One Man Gang. Jeez, my lighting's gone all crazy in here.
One Man Gang? Was it a wrestler?
Yeah, and he was bear with me. He was like a real big, but you'll remember the guy who he became. It was sort of like mid to late 80s, One Man Gang, real massive guy. He had I can't quite picture
what
his
did he become
outfit.
then?
He was just a bit. He became Akeem.
Oh, the American Dream. Yeah. Oh yeah,
the African
Dream. Sorry, yeah.
And
wasn't he someone else as well? Or was he the One Man Gang?
Yeah, he was One Man Gang before that, and then he became Akeem.
He was in the Twin Towers, eh? With Boss Man.
With Big Boss Man.
Yeah. Boss Man used to scare me. The way he beat up people with that stick. It was like, him and Outlaw Ron Bass. Remember when he dug open Brutus the Beefcake's forehead?
With his spur.
I was scared of that as a kid. I was like, whoa, this is hard out.
Yeah, and they they put the censored thing over it. Yeah. It was like
so we couldn't see the fakeness. No, that always scared me. Any wrestling, good shit.
So we briefly got onto some league there. Also re-signing, this was only announced today. Eddie Iramia Tuava. Now, where you going, Brad?
Sorry, turning tack off.
So he's re-signed for another couple of years. 2025 development contract still, and 2026 he'll be going into the top 30. He was a bit of a standout for New South Wales Cup last year. Second row prop and centre, actually. Played a fair bit of centre during the second half of the year, so he looked good.
Jeez.
Watching a fair bit of New South Wales Cup.
There's a lot of good kids. We're going to have to let go some good players if these a lot of them come to, isn't it? There's a bit of a logjam of absolute weapons coming through.
Yeah, well, it seems like we've done a lot of re-signing and maybe some surprise re-signing. I know we raised our eyebrows a little bit at Jackson Ford's re-signing when he seems to potentially be on the out, or at least, not being able to command a spot in the 17 potentially.
He might just be happy with good money. Like, you know what I mean? He might be just happy in Auckland and take what he's given, money-wise.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it'd be interesting to know what sort of deal he's on.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you, Brad. We've got about 8 guys off contract, and thought I'd ask you whether you'd keep these guys, or be sort of beating the door down to before someone else sort of gets sinks their claws into them.
Sweet, I'll take on. Yep. Who are we talking? Who are you bringing across the table today, Will?
Okay. Okay, so we've got to talk about Bunty Afal's contract, Brad. What are we doing with Bunty?
What is he up to? And if he is on the move, isn't it a bit mean having him at preseason and that? If they're trying to offload him, I think.
Well, I'm kind of thinking he's staying now, and maybe he's on a decent enough wicket, and he hasn't got a better offer else. Like I just
So he's
can't
under
see him.
contract, isn't he? Is he
Yeah,
under
yeah, yeah.
contract for this year? So it was
To the
only if
end of
he
it.
found something better, he was going to leave.
Well, I guess so, or a longer term opportunity, maybe not necessarily a better deal. And
Yeah,
the
true. Yeah.
ins and outs
That's
of
fair.
the other team picking up or the Warriors having to pick up some of the freight.
Who knows? Give him a
But
bit of kudos. He might fucking back himself to pump up, get
well,
into it, and push his way back in the team. And if that's the type of person he is, fucking, we'll keep him.
yeah, he just seems so far down the pecking order, and
Yeah.
for a team that was affected by injuries a fair bit, he played 9 games, but was not cited after round 12 this year. And he played most of it in New South Wales Cup. Played from that point, played 9 games in New South Wales Cup. So doesn't really seem like I can't see them offering him a new deal.
Never heard of him
So,
pissing a moan out of him either, did you? I think he might be a bit of a cruiser, old bunt, eh? Yeah, whatever. Fuck. No worries. What,
yeah.
train 3 days a week instead of 5? Yeah, sweet.
I'm not sure if he's in the top 30, but so
So, do you know
I'm guessing
anything
you're not
about our top
re-signing.
30? Have we got our top 30 locked in, or is there spots available?
Well,
Or
that's
I was trying
so
to.
that we're talking to Andrew McFadden about it, and so
Yeah,
top 29 of those are locked in, and as a lot of clubs do, one spot left
train and
open
trial.
to potentially upgrade potentially someone like Eddie Iramia Tava or another young gun.
Yeah. See who's on train and trial at Storm this preseason? Oh,
Who?
Nathaniel Roach and Setu too.
Oh, well, yeah, I was just about to bring up Sedu too. He was in the
Yeah.
news. Did he? Where has
He's
he
at the
gone? Is
Brisbane
he with
Dragon.
the
Is it Brisbane Dragon?
uh,
What are they called?
Sunshine Coast Falcons? Is it their
Nah,
their
is it?
feeder club?
No, it's not though.
No, North Sydney. No,
Nah, he's at a
should have known
Brisbane
that,
team. Is
man.
it Brisbane? Yeah, no,
Well,
I was reading.
The Falcons are their Sunshine Coast Falcons are their feeder club.
Yeah, it's
The
not from
Storm.
there. But either way, he's there on a train and trial. Him, another one to mention there, Morgan Harper at the Storm on a train and trial as well.
Well,
Which I thought was
he
admirable.
signed with the Bears, so maybe it is
Brisbane
North
Bears.
Sydney that's a feeder club. No, North Sydney Bears in New
Oh.
South Wales Cup.
Oh.
Dangerously underqualified to be talking about this.
But you're the one
Yeah,
that's confused. All I said was I don't know where he comes from.
Brisbane Bears, the extinct AFL team, Brisbane Bears, the Brisbane Dragons.
I was just going for alliteration. It sounds right. Alliterate Bears. Right, you talk about the next one. I'm going to find out where he's come from because I was reading it only half an hour ago.
I just did happen to see Morgan Harper had signed with North Sydney Bears. Setu too, I did see it pop up, and he got was going somewhere. You sort that out, Brad.
Yeah, I'll have a sniff.
Meanwhile, talking about our players that are coming off contract, Tom Ale, big year coming up for him. I'm a big fan. You're a big fan. Plenty of competition for spots. It just seems like he needs to sort of cement a spot in the 17, or maybe try his luck elsewhere. I think he's too good to be playing half a season in New South Wales Cup.
I think
played 16 games this year and finished the year in first grade. But he was in and out a fair bit. Played probably most of the first half of the season. Played 11 of the first 12 rounds, and then only 5 games from that point. So another that's sort of battling for a spot.
he is. I think he's got on his side though. His body is now almost that. You know how they always talk about the front rower's body growing a bit slower, and they start. I reckon he's starting to get into that wheelhouse where his body's actually up to it. So he might have his nose in front of a couple of the young ones this year, just for the sheer fact that he's conditioned and a bit stronger, mature, like maturity wise and conditioning wise. I think that's going to help him a lot. I hope he started a couple of little shiny moments into the season. He had a couple of little spurts and spats and something a little bit different. I've got a soft spot for him.
Yeah, just see, obviously we got Fisher Harris and Barnett if he is a middle forward. There's also Nukorte potentially in the mix there, but with so many, Yamayo, Valmonga, and
Valmonga.
those types. Next on the off-contract docket, Brad, and one of the more interesting ones, Tohu Harris.
Oh,
We're assuming he's going to play now, come back from that injury, but fair bit of speculation, come back from that wrist surgery. Does he? I kind of feel like it'll be one where he will just see how he goes for half a season and make a call.
yeah. There's no way you can call that with Tohu now, is there? But you got to wait to
Does
10 games in and go, right, how's the body holding up?
Does he have enough gravitas that he and standing in the game that he decides whether he carries on or not?
Personally, I wouldn't be
when it's not
upset
a club
if he
decision.
stepped aside at the end, made the call himself. Like, I think he's had a pretty good go at it, even if he was to leave. I think there's better option, maybe a better option, not directly straight away, but a better chance of blooding other people in that position instead of, like, that's a long time ago. Look at him this year. What do you think he's going to look like at the end of this next season? And then do you want him around for another whole season after that? I don't know if I do.
I think it'll be up to him. I think he's that important to the club as a leader, as such a smart football brain that if he feels up to it, and he's not someone that is just gonna, cop the paycheck as well. So if he, wants to re-sign, it'll be for the right reasons because he thinks he can contribute. I've talked a lot about how many games he's missed for us, and he's only played more than 17 games twice in 7 seasons for us.
7 seasons?
Yeah, 7 seasons, and he's missed at least 8 games in 5 of those. But the 2 seasons where he was more durable were coming off the back of season-ending injuries. So 2019, he I can't remember the injury then, but he didn't play after round 14. Came back, played every game in 2020, and was our player of the year. 2015, you remember no, I got that wrong, but he had the ACL in 2021, didn't come back till halfway through 2022. So he sort of played half a season that year. Then 2023 was one of the best forwards in the game, played 23 games, which was his most since 2016 at the Storm. Coming off a big rest, obviously the surgery is a bit of an unknown and how that injury recovers, but
what?
Maybe resting that battered bod could be the best thing for him. He last played in late June, so coming off a big rest. And
so history tells us next year it should be one and done because he's going to be no good the year after that, and he ain't going to wait. I didn't realize he'd been there 7 seasons. 8 seasons is enough then, isn't it? Come on, bud.
So he's 30. Yeah, he'll be 33 by the time the season gets underway.
Is he only 33? How long was he at Storm for? He seems to. I thought he was at Storm. Has he been at the Warriors longer than he's at the Storm now?
He was only at the Storm for 5 seasons, believe it or not. But he's played exactly. This is an interesting statistical quirk, Brad. He's played exactly 117 games for both clubs, but he spent 2 more seasons at the Warriors.
That is, I wouldn't have picked that. I still think him as a Storm player that come to finish at the Warriors, but he's Jesus. I did not. I would never have picked. If there was a Spates bottle cap question, I would have picked 4 or 5.
You feel like he could be our uncle, but he's only 32.
Looks like a real nice guy, doesn't he?
Yeah. Next one here's a curly one. Ed Cossey. Geez, he gets enough chances. seems to weasel his way back. Weasel's a bit of a
That's harsh.
He's not doing anything devious, but he does, despite some fairly high-profile failures. He's come back into the team off and on. He only got 5 games this year, but he did come back in fairly late in the season. And that extra time game against the Dolphins was his last start. He's played 32 NRL games, 17 tries, not too bad of a strike rate, but a few nightmare performances in there. I just feel like we've got too many young,
especially not even
just he's backup, and maybe he's got more. Might have his sights set higher than that. Hasn't worked out that well for similar type of Warriors wingers that have gone elsewhere. Ken Momalo, his career's fallen off a cliff. Fusatua did nothing after leaving, really. Maybe
and
he just stays.
It's the same ilk, isn't it?
But you can't have someone that's a backup like that. I guess on too much of a contract, which is maybe where they'll end up parting ways. But obviously a nice young fella and a good clubman. So
he's had long enough in the shop window, and it's not really impressed me. He's not a shit player. He's not terrible, but we're wanting that next big thing. And I think you can turn over Ed Cossies every 2-3 years trying to find that next big thing. Like, I don't think we're going to lose anything by trying someone else.
We've
seen enough.
Not going to say, someone get injured and go, shit, I wish we'd hung on to Ed. Like he's been in the shop window for long enough. He's also tripped over and fucking fallen through.
Hang on to Ed. That's a Tui billboard if he's signed somewhere.
Next one, and a really intriguing one, Tamati Martin. So obviously part of that big logjam at halves. You kind of think of him as a young guy, and in terms of sort of football experience, he's only played 93 NRL games, but he is 29 now.
Yeah.
And make or break year, I guess. I can see other clubs being interested.
I reckon the Tamari Martin one, it relies more on what the other halves do, the sort of unknowns and a couple of the young fellas we've got at the moment. It's not about. I think we know what you get and what he delivers, but I think it actually comes down to, is Metcalf the next coming? Is like Chanel going to step up? There's a couple of other boxes to tick that I think makes the decision on whether to keep or ship him off. And it's not necessarily how he's playing.
Yeah, and we've got all those sort of halves all around the same level. The rest of them are re-signed. Metcalf is on another couple of years. Chanel only recently re-signed. Tanner Boyd's only just turned up.
Yeah, that's the names I was trying to remember. Yeah.
So maybe that suggests that it could be Tamati's last season at the club, but absolutely no idea. I was going to ask you soon about that, but where you think they're going to go with that. But for now, a few more still, and fairly big names. Chance, Nickel, Klodstad. Surely I'm surprised actually that a deal isn't done. I can't imagine them wanting to leave, and I can't imagine them wanting him to leave.
He is a week in, week out starter. It's just the next 9 months might tell us where that may be. I don't think, and even if he just was the fix-it man, he can become that fix-it man anyway. Mr. Reliable, he's got to be at the club.
Yeah, I think he's potentially coming to the twilight years. He's 29. Obviously a bit of a late bloomer as far as when he became an established NRL player. But yeah, I mean, he's in my starting 13 every week. I'm sure he's in Andrew Webster's as well. It depends if it's at fullback or centre.
Yeah, and that's you just don't know what number's going to be on the back of his jersey, but yeah, he's a starter every week.
Yeah, I'd say you'd be wanting to lock him down, especially there's no sort of.
I do want to see more of him at centre. So much
Yeah.
more direct and punchy. He's just aggressive off the mark. No stuttery stepping, just makes a decision and goes. I like that about Chance.
And yeah, we've talked about it on the pod as well. I just like what Tane Tuapiki adds at fullback, even though he's there's a few things physicality wise, and that where obviously Chance is stronger, but yeah, I think we just need with no Johnson a bit more of a playmaking option at fullback. Adam Pompey, another crossroads year for the long-serving Adam Pompey. Started the year.
He's a good bastard, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, like the he can, and
gets it done.
He's definitely he's come under the pump on here a lot. He can frustrate you, but geez, it would be with a heavy heart to see him go.
Yeah,
I think
definitely. Yeah, it would be.
95 games. I mean, we are short on long-serving players with Jazz now gone and Bunty, potentially on the way out.
There's some players you probably don't want to brag about being long serving. Say, you know what I mean? Jesus, do they put him up?
But you let Adam Pompey play 100 games for you?
Yeah, and I'm not specifically talking about Adam Pompey, but that whole long game sort of players, number of games players. It's not always a brag. It's not always a brag that too. Surely it should be a shame that you've had that dude playing in your colours that long. You fucking moron. But yeah,
but yeah, it is an interesting sort of subplot to that. He is, there isn't a lot of guys now that were around in 2019 with the club that are in that first grade lineup. Besides Roger and Tohu, who obviously had big careers elsewhere, Pompey debuting with the club. Played 15 games.
Oh, sorry.
I was saying, played 15 games this year. He didn't finish the season in first grade. He played in that game against Canterbury. But I can't remember if he got injured when they had that backline reshuffle, and Chance obviously went to centre. But yeah, I mean, he still found after missing out on the first 3 rounds with Roger coming into the team and Berry ahead of him in the pecking order. But then he came back and managed 15 games. So still at the forefront of Webster's thinking whether he gets another deal. There was a bit of a rumour that there was clubs sniffing around with Newcastle rumoured, or were you just trying to shop him around? Yeah. Get those big sweaty ties out here at Penrith.
Yeah, he wouldn't be in my starting 17, but I'll be a little bit gutted for Adam himself if they let him go. I think he's earned to be around for a little bit longer. He's done some dirty work for no fanfare.
Yeah,
just grinds out, gets absolutely slayed by multiple podcasts. Everyone has a go at him for not being fancy and flash. Poor bloody Adam's trying his guts out there. He's just about done 100 games. Shut your face.
Yeah, what the fuck do we know? Yeah, and he could sort of be at the mercy of other selections. If Roger is as a winger and Chance remains a fullback in Webster's eyes, then Pompey's right back in the frame as a centre. But then he's also competing with Berry, who injury's a big question mark. Leatawa, I think, slam dunk centre choice now. But yeah, you can't be sort of giving Adam Pompey a probably 300 plus contract if he's not a definite starter.
We've got a few transpositional players, haven't we? Like centres that maybe wingers.
Did you say transpositional?
Yeah, I don't think that's offensive.
I've never heard that term before.
You get people like transsexual that identify as certain things. Like we seem to have a lot of transpositional players that identify. Yeah. We've got wingers identifying as centres. We got you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a fullback identifying as a standoff every now and then.
Yeah. No, certainly
Transpositional. Heard it here first.
Utility, probably the more common terminology in rugby league. The last one. Speaking of
out there, they just utility. Just a utility. I don't mind.
Speaking of transpositional players, Dylan Walker's the last one off contract.
Is he?
One of the most versatile players in the club. There was a bit of talk, obviously, a relationship ending, and with his partner taking the kids back to Australia, I think. That muddies the waters as far as his future probably goes. Maybe he does look to go back to Australia if he gets a contract, and he seems pretty happy as a Warrior. He's 30 now, so at that back end, where his next contract, could be his last in the NRL. Been a fabulous servant for 2 years.
And that's his effort over the past seasons. I think that deserves him the right to make the choice if he goes back to his family in Aussie, and if he does, and that's what he wants to do, I wouldn't be angry with that. And if he wants to stay, I'd love to keep him. I think he's earned I think he's been a epic little purchase, hasn't he? What a surprising one.
He obviously filled that bench utility, but pretty much just a middle forward off the bench.
With a lot of skill.
And with a few games at 5'8" thrown in there as well. And then halfway through this season, he takes over a starting lock and just putting in, massive minutes, massive numbers. And he's not the biggest bloke going around. He used to be a sort of quicksilver centre. So, I think he's been a tremendous value buy. Whether that means he sticks around longer than this year,
I'd like him to see at his time at the Warriors. He
I'm
looks
sure
like a Warrior now, eh? He doesn't look like he'd suit another jersey. Do you know
who? But off contract, you've already re-signed a shitload of guys. If you're looking to recruit or bring some of these young guns into your top 30, you've already got your Eddie Iramia Toava coming into the top 30 guaranteed in 2026. So someone's making way.
I know. I think Walker's one of those core old boys that you need around some of these players coming up. I think he is the type
trying to hang on to him.
Yeah, exactly. Likes up the front with Fisher Harris and Barnett. They're the ones that I think they adhere to the core values of what Webby's trying to do, effort-wise. He'd be one I'd like to keep around. But like I said, he's earned the right to, in my opinion, to do whatever he wants because he's been gone so good.
I think, especially if Tohu was to retire, that would give you more motivation to, really convince Dylan Walker to stay.
Yeah,
might see how it all unfolds, Brad.
That's it. I made up and changed my mind 6 times in 0.8 of a second then.
There's I'm just looking at Zero Tackle's list of off contract players for that that aren't re-signed beyond 2025. It's pretty unappealing as far as from a Warriors recruitment perspective. There's not really anyone that I'd be. Tony Staggs stands out. But otherwise there's
do we even nab these off? Like, look at Fisher Harris. It just happens sometimes, doesn't it? I don't know if the off contract has. You look at that, what cattle's out there for sale, but it's usually
that recruitment. Like, obviously, it's very.
Was Mitch Healy still contracted for next year at Cronulla?
Sam Healy.
Sam Healy.
No, he was like a third stringer at Cronulla. So that's why he obviously took the opportunity. But very low profile recruitment class this year. Healy and Tanner Boyd. Whereas coming on for 2023, we had Walker, we had Barnett, Chance returning, Tamati Martin. Think about Luke Metcalf. Think about what all of those guys have done for the club since then. That was one hell of a recruitment class. This year, Roger came back, Chanel came back. That was just about it. Obviously, I'm missing James Fisher-Harris off this year, but it's more about stability and development at the moment. You know,
Yeah.
no use throwing money at guys just for the sake of changing it up.
Like the Tigers, Jesus, they take any like bloody Jack Bird's going to rebuild his life at lock at the Tigers, is he? No, he ain't. He's going nowhere, that maggot. He's gone nowhere for 6th season. Why does he think he's going to really kickstart his career at lock for the Tigers? I do hope the Tigers go better. Look at their spine. Look at the Tigers' spine. Coruscant,
Luai, Galvin, Buller.
and Buller. Like that can't be Wooden Spoon next year. There's no fuck. And then they got Taruva on the wing, haven't they?
Yeah. And no, I mean, fuck, imagine having that spine at the Warriors, you'd be pretty pumped.
Yeah, it would be fizzed.
Two multiple premiership winners and probably the best young players in their positions.
And then just fucking Jack Bird bringing it all day off the back of the scrum too. All on the back of bloody Jackie Bird.
Yeah.
I'd be filthy if Jack Bird signed with the Warriors. I'd be like, what? Jesus.
He's got visions of being a Dylan Walker for the Tigers, I think. Maybe he could be.
I tell you who I'd love that Dewey from the Tigers. That's a 5'8" I'd like to see in a Warriors jersey.
Oh yeah, but a bit more size.
He's
running game.
He gets hurt a lot, but geez, he's a good footy player.
Yeah, it's got to be an insurance risk. Speaking of, so the Warrior Holic is always right across your sort of New South Wales Cup and below signings, the ones that the club doesn't really publicise. So it's very handy. Keeping an eye on his socials, he'll come up with some news there. And a former Warriors junior, just trying to get this name right, Dayon Ahmed Twino. It's a pretty tricky one, actually. He's been at Penrith for the last 3 years. I couldn't get an age on him, but I think he's still quite young. He's been at Penrith for the last 3 years, played 48 New South Wales Cup games, 29 tries. His highlights reel, which go to the Warrior Holics Instagram. It's got a pretty handy compilation video on there. Looks of goods. Winger centre, or just a winger maybe. Just the one game at centre in New South Wales Cup, scored 2 tries in it. Mostly on the wing though, kind of
size, shape,
tall, athletic type.
Yeah, okay. You Daniel Tupou type. That tall?
Yeah, Xavier Coates maybe.
Yeah. See, that's what we need. We need one of them.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Dallin, who's obviously a brilliant finisher.
Although we've got Roger as well. I'm quite excited about Roger, seeing him on a wing.
Yeah, but I'll be following this guy's this progress this year coming in. Sort of lost Sedu too. Should get a fair bit of game time in New South Wales Cup.
It's a few games in New South Wales Cup too, isn't it? Like that's starting to get the lay of the land. That's a few games, couple of decent seasons. It's a bit of experience to nice backup to have.
Yeah, and finished this season on fire in New South Wales Cup. So in his last 8 games, scored 7 tries. So
that is on fire. He's heating up.
Obviously know what they're getting. Brad, who are you halves? Say Webster gets COVID and his voice is gone. He can't even lift a pen to write down his lineup for round 1. You're up. You've got to choose the halves for round 1. Who's your preference?
I don't know if it's a preference, and I don't even know if it's right. But in my thinking, I'm going. I don't even know why. Boyd and Metcalf 5'8", just for Boyd's kicking game.
Say.
Yeah, Boyd's kicking game. We get our asses kicked from a lack of length on the kicking games at the end of this year, and I don't think we can do it again next year. My preference is I would way rather Chanel or Tori to Marty to Mighty to have a longer kicking games, but they just haven't, and they're not going to materialize that in the next 2 months. So, boy, unfortunately, it's a dick thing to
shout
say.
out to new recruit Tanner Boyd. Welcome to the club.
Cotta Bay.
Actually, man. I mean, it could be anything. It could be, it could be a bit of a dud. Could be an inspired signing, Tanner Boyd. There is, the more I think about it, the more I think maybe he, for his, what he has over the others, might be what we need. And then, if you've probably got the most, like, he's the most organizational, but the least dynamic. So maybe you need your best ball runner, best game breaker, which would be Metcalf alongside him. Maybe that is the, geez, that's it. So,
it's a different half setup. This has got rumors of Adam Kieran, bloody Blake Green half combo heading into a season, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
I think it's probably you've named a pretty Caucasian Australian combo there. I was thinking it's probably the whitest Warriors combo since Michael Witt and Grant Ravelli were steering us around.
But that's what it reminds me of. It actually reminds me of I think that was our preseason at a very, very, very first podcast. We were heading into that season, and the same question was asked. Listen to it the other week, just to I listened to it and I wonder how shit we were. And I listened to it, it's like, wow, we haven't improved much at all, man.
It's bittersweet, eh? You're like,
it was.
It actually wasn't that bad. No wonder we carried on. Be like, geez, we haven't got any better.
Why have we carried on?
And we do far less preparation. We've got better microphones.
We have, we're not recording out of dustbins anymore. But that's what we were heading into the preseason. And it was I had picked Adam Kieran and Blake Green, and I was picking Adam Kieran to be the second coming of James Maloney. I was like, you remember James Maloney we got? We fucking they're onto it, man. Adam Kieran, where's he now? Yeah, he's got a Jim's lawn mowing service and sub. Was he in Super League?
He's been, and he's actually a bit of a
man of steel. He promised a lot.
He spent a season at Catalans, lost a grand final to Wigan as a centre, mostly played a few games in the halves. Then went to Wigan and
lost won a grand final to Catalans. Oh, did he win one? I thought you were going to flip it on its head.
Don't know why the link.
He did promise. He had that great. He had that awesome trial game, didn't he? Preseason. I was like, oh
no, it was round one. We pumped the Bulldogs and he scored a try, kicked 6 goals. But it was it wasn't.
It was a false economy.
I just bit my tongue, and everyone was like, "Sean, who?" And I was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm gonna can the podcast after 2 episodes. I hate this." And then didn't, and then 2 weeks later, Adam Kieran got dropped. So we carried the podcast on. He's actually been in. Why. So Kieran went to Wigan, won a grand final, opposing Pet Hiku in the grand final, actually, because he was a centre still. So really pivoted there. What were we talking about? Oh, halves. So yeah.
Is that your halves as well? Same reasons?
Well, yeah, but then you think, well, I kind of think of Tamati and Chanel as superior players. But then, I don't know. Like
Boyd,
I think
they're better players.
Really?
Yeah.
Or that maybe one of them and Metcalf is the answer. I don't know. I think they got enough of a run of it. Like we saw some really good points, but we probably saw why it's not a long-term solution. Tamati and Chanel.
Yeah. They're too similar.
I don't know. They're all
be on the field at the same time, I don't think.
Tamati's obviously a bit older, but had that sort of break in his career. The other guys are sort of your mid-20s, but haven't played a lot of NRL. Boyd's the youngest, but he's played the most started the most games in the halves in the NRL.
Yeah, I just
Tamati's the only one. So Tamati started 16 games in the halves last year. That's by far the most out of any of the four. Boyd started 9 games, I think. Chanel 8, and Metcalf 7. So that's not exactly what you want heading into
how many did you say
bit of
Martin
a
played?
crossroads NRL season. How many?
Did you say? Yeah.
16. So it was,
And neither of us can still pick whether or not he's a starting half. We've seen him play 16 times last year, and we go,
well, like we saw the best
I'm
and
not
worst.
sure if
Like
I'm
it was
starting.
just, we saw the best and worst of Tamati. Unbelievable through that crazy mid-season run of Magic Round and Dolphins. Big win over the Cowboys, and then we had a shocker in that Golden Point game against the Bulldogs, and probably saw him struggle to with the responsibilities of being halfback and finished the year out of the first grade team. So, and he started the year out of the first grade team as well. So yeah, man, I'd love to know what Andrew Webster is thinking now, whether he's and as you only get 2 trials, so you probably need to, and then you want to give whoever you choose for round 1 a good run at it, and then if it's not working, how long do you give it? It's just man, it's really tricky.
It's
One
going to
with
be
so many options, and none of them, it's not like, oh, Sean Johnson starts the season slow, oh, we're going to drop him. No, he's it'll come right, or you persevere. But
it's usual transmission next year, isn't it? Go into a season not knowing what's going to happen. This season just gone, we come into this thinking we were winning the competition. We were
genuinely thinking we could win the comp. Yeah.
New Zealand Rugby League Hall of Fame. They were clearing a shelf to put the trophy in. And then this year we're back to freaking guessing. I hope we come out with more answers than questions this year. I don't want to be asking the question. It's like, he's our halfback. He's not. Who's our? We've got just rolling dice.
Yeah. Now, Brad, just while we're talking about halves, today I updated an article I did a long time ago on the Swarrows Life website about the most successful halves combinations in Warriors history by win percentage. So got the top 10 with a couple of honourable mentions there. I won't take you through the whole top 10, but I'll put a link in the show notes, share it again on socials. I'll take you through the top 5 though. Might surprise you, some of the names that are in here. Coming in the minimum qualification was 15 games paired together. So at number 5 with a 58% win record in 25 games, Stacey Jones and John Simon, despite playing in that Mark Graham era exclusively together. Those were the only 2 seasons that Simon was there. But they're actually pretty handy combo. We finished 11th and 13th in those years, but they sort of, Simon turned up halfway through 99. Jones missed a big chunk of 2000.
So
that's
they
handy.
knitted a few together, just those few.
Yeah, back end of 99 and second half of 2000. So yeah, quite interesting. Simon, a bit of a cult figure, I guess, in Warriors history.
Jeez, John Simon turned up, seeing us at our worst, didn't he? Poor bastard. God, he must be
he was out of, sort of out of favour at Parramatta, couldn't get a game there.
Yeah.
Nice little segue in his career. Speaking of who we were talking about before, number 4, with a 58.3% win rate in 30 games, Grant Ravelli and Michael Witt. Now they teamed up. They teamed up in 2008. The 2 years that we made the finals back to back, so that obviously helps your win percentage. But they were crucial to those, and probably underrated their roles. I mean, man, has a less heralded halves combo made back to back finals. between those two in the NRL era. I mean,
Ravelli was a good little
he-
player.
he's a- yeah, he was, and so was Witt, and Nathan Fiend was in the mix there as well.
Yeah.
I think actually Fiend had bumped his way into the starting halves for that 2008 finals run, but yeah, nevertheless, Ravelli and Witt, good little combo.
Yeah.
Number 3, 60% win rate in 20 games. The oft-forgotten Brett Seymour and James Maloney. So they took us to the finals. Yeah, they took us to the finals in 2010. Obviously, Seymour was the kind of fallen young gun from the Broncos and had a tumultuous stint at Cronulla. Maloney had turned up as a no-name from the Storm, and his career exploded straight away after joining the Warriors. But, yeah. Number 2, Shaun Johnson, Blake Green, 10 wins, 6 losses for a 62.5% win rate in just the 16 games. They only played together in 2018. Got us to the finals after a 7-year break. But yeah, they were a good combo. Just a good.
Blake Green was a nice foil.
Oh man, and he did it at Melbourne with Cronk.
That's
Manly with Cherry Evans, and then did the same with Johnson. But yeah, when he
he was
kind
just
of
the
main
hired
man,
gun there for a bit, wasn't he? To come and shore up the halves partner. He was your link.
But yeah, when he was sort of more of a main man in 2019, it went to custard. And coming in at number 1, Shaun Johnson, Luke Metcalf.
What?
19 games. Yeah. 13 wins, 6 losses, 68.4% win rate. Obviously boosted by that run in 2023. They went 10-2 with Metcalf in the team with Johnson.
That's a bit of a bugger, isn't it?
Yeah, and then he got injured for the finals. They went 3-4 this year. He started the season and ended the season in first grade with a broken leg in between. Metcalf, I've said this before on the pod, but he's yet to start a game for the Warriors without SJ.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, even if it is only 2 seasons, what is that thing you're drinking out? What have you got there, Princess?
It's a husky, like a cooler thing.
Oh, just drink faster, I reckon, eh? Does it get that warm? Jeez, look at it. Look at it. That looks pretty flash. Yeah, wow.
Have you not seen them? Pretty. Most people have got.
I just didn't notice you drinking out of it. It looks like you've got real small hands, like you're out of scale.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we got there.
Yeah,
Shaun Johnson, Metcalf.
That's actually far out. That is quite a surprise. That is a surprise. Right, I'm gonna have to actually just about go here soon, Will. I've got
shit.
Got to shoot out. Oh, it's end of year, so there's always something going on.
Everyone wants to fucking piss up. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we've had 2 prize givings the last 2 nights. We had a school thing Tuesday night, and then tonight there's one more thing, and then that's us done.
Oh, how was the Christmas pageant?
Christmas pageant
was that last night? Yeah.
That was last
show.
Prize giving. Odie's Christmas show was the other day. Jesus, what a like I honestly, and I understand it must be like herding cats, but it was pretty disappointing. Pretty disappointing.
Were you expecting a higher standard?
But it has been higher than what was served up the other night.
They're going backwards.
Yeah, they have in a big way. No, it wasn't bad. Like I said, it's like herding cats. You forget, like primary school, a 5-year-old's a pretty young kid, and when you're mixing them, it's just So
they all group together.
Yeah. So it's just, and then so you got 5-year-olds singing and laughing and it is what it is. But I don't know. Why is it not until you get it? And it's 2 nights in a row, got in a hole, and you've got for some reason one of those like a booger in your nose that's either itchy or uncomfortable, and when you breathe, it goes in and out, and it starts flicking around, and you're having to sit stationary, shoulder to shoulder with a stranger with this uncomfortable bug. You know what I mean? You've had it. Surely you've had it.
Oh,
You just sit
yeah.
there going, "Oh, fuck." Then you go to the
That's
toilet.
all
and
you can think about.
Yeah, and then the stomach goes. And then you're peeling back massive farts. You're like just holding it, like swallowing it. Your bum, it's like doing a gulp bit in your bum, like gulping farts up. And then I had to go out. I go to Otis. We'll go outside and get 10 minutes. I just went out and stood in the octagon, just farted for like 5 minutes, and then went back in. As soon as you have to sit in a confined space, your body starts fucking pranking you.
Okay. This starts fucking backing up on you.
Yeah,
So was it at the town hall?
Yeah, the
in
Regent
Dunedin?
yesterday. Ted's one was at the Regent
Fancy.
and the Octi. Yeah, it's a good show actually. Balmacewen School, it's just a difference in age. It is an entertaining show. Real good Kappa Haka group. Yeah. But it's all done. One more little chore tonight and shut her down as far as the kids are concerned. They can fend for themselves for 6 weeks.
Do you think that like anyone that you talk about like, oh, fucking another fucking show, another Christmas break over prize giving? Is there any parents that enjoy it?
I had a mate that had been to the matinee.
Prize-giving.
He went to the matinee show and then turned
Saw
up
it
for
twice.
the evening show. Saw it twice. It's
What a
like,
fucking
why?
heart out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I still didn't get a solid definitive answer as to why. Like, why? Yeah, he's hard out of shit. He must hate his job. I think he must just wanted the afternoon off. He'd do anything not to be in the office. He'd sit there and listen to that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, the kids tried their guts out, but they need to practice a bit harder, kids. Listen to the teacher. It's not the teacher's fault. I understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right. My back teeth are floating, Will.
Right. We'll let you get back to it, Brad. Thanks for a great year, bro.
Yeah.
You've put in some big fucking shifts, mate. Looking forward to next year. And yeah, thanks to everyone out there. Kingz Container Crew, of course. Yeah,
Fonzie.
Another season with them. Fonzie. Looking forward to another big year with everyone on board. Hopefully this hasn't been too much of a fucking debacle to listen to.
Is it worth putting out? I've been sitting here wondering at times through this, have we just wasted an hour and a half of our life?
Yeah, we started poorly. There were some big periods of it where it was just garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck. I don't know.
See what happens.
Surely it's better than nothing. There should be our tagline. This Warrior's Life. Well, better than nothing.
Should be better than nothing. Be close to better than nothing.
Yeah.
Righto, bro.
I hope we don't get any messages saying actually nothing would have been way better.
Yeah.
But on that note, thanks for 2024, everyone. We love yous and have a great holiday break. Hopefully you get to do something fun. We'll see you in the new year.
Laters.